Habertürk.com'dan herkese merhabalar. Ben İrem Kuşoğlu, Görgü. Bugün konuğumuz Dünya Bankası Türkiye Ülke Direktörü Humberto López olacak. Kendisiyle Türkiye'nin enerji projelerini ve yatırımlarını, aynı zamanda da Dünya Bankası ve Türkiye arasındaki enerji konusundaki işbirliklerini konuşacağız. Mr. López, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
My first question will be about the Minister Bayraktar's wordings. A week ago, World Bank and Turkish Energy Ministry holds a meeting aimed at the boosting energy cooperation. And Energy Minister Bayraktar highlighted that the financing is one of the most critical issues for advancing the energy investments in Turkey. How does the World Bank intend to address these financial challenges? And what specific financial instruments and support mechanisms using for this process?
Yeah, thank you very much once again. And let me take one step back to that statement. I think that last year, the minister announced an energy transition plan for Turkey that other than what we have seen in China and India, and they are big countries, it's the most ambitious plan that the World Bank has witnessed. This is a plan to install 60 gigawatts of renewable energy over the next 12 years. This is about 5 gigawatts per year. And the cost of that is estimated at around $100 billion. This includes investments on the generation side that can be around 80 billion, 85 billion. On the transmission side, that we are estimating at around $10 billion. And on the distribution side, that we are estimated at around $5 to $10 billion. When you bring all this together, again, we are talking about 100 billion. This is around 10% of Turkey GDP, and it will require financing for the public sector and financing for the private sector, in addition to coordination on the different areas. You were asking me what the World Bank is doing. We are working with the ministry on a number of activities. We are working on the installation of rooftop panels. We are working with them on transmission lines, and we are working with them also on energy efficiency. And IFC, the branch of the World Bank that works with the private sector, are also working to see how we are going to be able to attract the private sector to come to these areas. What the minister was saying is particularly relevant for the private sector. In Turkey, we need long-term financing that can support investment from the private sector. And that is the reason that I was referring to what our colleagues IFC is doing to attract private sector investment.
And the World Bank, a month ago, I think, has launched a Scaling Up Energy Efficiency in Europe and Central Asia program, which is also called E3 program, and to ensure the secure and affordable and clean energy across the Europe and Asia, Central Asia. And the first phase of the initiative includes the projects in Moldova and Turkey. Can you provide more details about this program and other programs as well?
Listen, energy is not an issue only for Turkey. It's a problem for many countries. What we are trying from the World Bank is to adopt a regional strategy in Europe and Central Asia, where basically we support the different countries, and we try to benefit from the lessons that we learn in one country to translate to another different country. Turkey is a leader. I want to state that. It's a leader in several areas, because in energy efficiency, and this is one of the areas that you were mentioning, we are investing now around $300 million that we are going to be using to enhance energy efficiency in 400 central government buildings, basically improving isolation, improving windows, etc., etc. What we are saying is that we are trying to mitigate by adapting. We have the buildings that are better shaped to withstand the heat waves. withstand the cold, and at the very same time to be able to save on the consumption of energy. But we have more than that. Early this year, we also approved a similar vehicle for Europe and Central Asia, where Turkey is also a leader. We approved 600 million for the installation of rooftop solar panels. The idea is to work with TSKB and TKYB, the two development banks that we have in Turkey, so that they are going to facilitate the financing for the private sector to make investments that will bring solar energy, and that will be able to reduce the consumption of fossil fuels energy. And we're doing more than that also. As I was mentioning before, the 100 billion energy plan that the government is working on has different parts. The generation, we're dealing with that, the distribution, and the transmission. One of the biggest bottlenecks that we are seeing now when we are moving in the renewable energy world is transmission. Nobody's going to install a solar farm if there is no transmission line to be able to move the energy to the cities, to firms that are demanding the energy. We are preparing already an operation, $750 million US, that what this is going to be doing is to facilitate that program. And there is more to come. So a very ambitious plan, fully committed to support the government, fully in agreement of what the government is trying to do in this context.
Also, after the Russia and Ukraine war, the energy security is one of the become most important things for Europe and Turkey as well. What measures and crisis management plans are in place to address the potential crisis in the energy sector? I mean, such as energy supply security and the other disasters as well. Specifically, how do you assess the impact of the international conflicts, like the war, Russia and Ukraine war? And what strategies does the World Bank have to protect its energy projects?
I think this is an extremely important question, and I tell you why. In the past, when we were talking about renewable energy, people would think, oh, this is climate change related. And in the past, it used to be the case that many people were putting on the table whether either I take care of climate change or I take care of growth. And so they were different things. Now, if you look at the cost of installing solar energy or wind, what you are seeing is that they are extremely competitive. Indeed, we are at a point where it's not either or. It's not that you say either renewables or growth, because they are part of the same equation. Indeed, I think that the plan that the government is pushing in Turkey is a plan focused, first of all, on energy security. Mm-hmm. For better or for worse, if you install 60 gigawatts of renewable energy, this means that you don't have to import fossil fuels, whether it is coal, whether it is oil, to basically generate the 60 gigawatts. This is energy in the country. And once again, today, solar is highly competitive, and you can compete with fossil fuels without any problem. On top of that, the price issue is also important for competitiveness. We have analysis that indicate that with solar and with wind, we will be able to reduce the cost of energy over the medium and long run, and this will make Turkey competitive in export markets. And finally, let's not forget that there is also the climate change dimension, as you were mentioning before. I think that climate change, everybody agrees that this is a huge challenge and is an important one for Turkey. What we are expecting is that if at the global level, temperatures are rising 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, we're expecting that Turkey would be higher. So this will have also an impact on heat waves, etc., etc. So energy security, competitiveness, climate change, This plan is, I think, is the step in the right direction.
And even though Turkey's economic management focuses on the fighting with the inflation, there's also lots of wordings on sustainability and green transformation and digitalization. Do you find the steps taken in this area is enough? And given the current condition of Turkey, do you believe it is possible to Turkey to address its economic challenges while simultaneously achieving the green transformation in its economy?
I think I'm on record over the past few months saying that I was fully in agreement to the plan that the economic team is implementing, what you were referring as the disinflation plan. I think this is critical. With high inflation, it's very difficult to ensure that investment flows to the most efficient sectors. With high inflation, there are too many issues to ensure that the economy works efficiently. So when we are thinking about sustainability, green transformation, renewables, etc., and we are talking of the volumes of financing needed, what you need is that investment is going to flow to the right in the right direction, and for that, the disinflation is going to be critical. What we are seeing is that the worst probably is already over. We are starting now in the phase where inflation is starting declining, starting with the June number. We're expecting that in July it will continue declining, and by the end of this year we will see more. Numbers that are lower in the 40%, 43%. This is the expectation that we have in the World Bank currently. So fully in agreement. Let me also add, I know that it's difficult to ask for patience to the population at a moment when the measures are creating some pain. Let me also say that the alternative of living with high inflation is much worse than what we have today.